I have recently gotten a library card and I am expecting a DVD player, a portable DVD player in the mail because I travel around the country for work and I like the idea of watching movies in the hotel. So these are the physical media that I have rented out, not rented, but checked out of the library to watch. And I just want to go through them one by one and explain why I got them. First is Indiana Jones. I got the Temple of Doom and oh no, what is this? What the hell is this? Oh, Dial of Destiny. I think I got one more. Raiders of the Lost Ark. There you go. But let's start with these two first. So I know about Indiana Jones, but I only know about the movies that came out in the 21st century. Okay? The 21st century Indiana Jones movies are the movies that are part of my childhood. And I was really, really fond of them. I was fond of the theme song. Dun, 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 dun. There is a Lego video game that I was obsessed with and used to play all the time with my brother on Xbox, you know? So I'm familiar with this franchise. But it's not until much later that the Indiana Jones franchise started with, in the 20th century with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, I believe. I believe it was George Lucas who wrote Indiana Jones, who created Indiana Jones. So I learned that, this is a long spanning franchise starting from the 20th century with these big names in entertainment. I have always had that in mind, right? Understanding in mind, but when it comes to coming around and seeing it, I was never really compelled to, as much as I was fond of Indiana Jones. But I saw it at the library spontaneously, and I thought, oh, I guess it's time to actually watch these, And I look forward to it too. But I also got the recent Indiana Jones film, which I have not seen because I wasn't all that crazy about it. What I know about it is that Phoebe, oh, I forgot her name, Phoebe Wallace, the star and writer of creator, I should say, the whole creator of Fleabag, is starring in this movie. And in this movie, they use CGI technology to make the star of Indiana Jones much younger. I lost his name too. I'm sorry about that. And oh, Harrison Ford is right there. Yeah, Harrison Ford is much younger with CGI technology. And I wasn't too crazy about seeing that because I just know that that's really going to bug me. But listen, seeing that at home with my new DVD player that I have coming in the mail, absolutely. Next is Maleficent, Guard Mistress of Evil. I've seen the first Maleficent movie. I liked it. And I just like Angelina Jolie in general. I tend to watch anything that she stars in, especially now that her career is slowing down. And yeah, I thought it was about time to really see what is it about the Mistress of Evil. Ghost. Now, Ghost is a classic that I knew about, but I remember I've only seen it when I was a child, and child me did not understand I was watching a classic. So you can imagine that I barely paid attention, right? I think it was playing on the TV in my dad's house, and yeah, barely paying attention to it. But I do remember being strongly fond of it, especially the romance scenes, the erotic scenes. I was affected by it as a younger person, then I'm definitely gonna like it as an older person, So just to see exactly what this classic is about. Next is Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is a movie that I was really fond of as a child. Well, hold on. I was fond of Nicolas Cage. Okay, if Nicolas Cage is on there, then I'm watching it. I don't remember like going into the child file of my memories. I don't know if if I actually like this. I was fascinated by Ghost Rider. I remember being fascinated by Ghost Rider. When he's on fire and all that. I don't remember if I liked the plot of the movie. I don't remember that part. Okay, so I do want to blast it past and see this Ghost Rider again and see if I enjoy it as an adult, as I most likely did, kind of, sort of did, probably as a child. Speaking of Nicolas Cage, I also made sure to get National Treasure. National Treasure was a fave for me as a child, and I would watch it over and over and over and over and over again. I watched National Treasure a lot of times. I think I was always sort of fond of, treasure movies right? Like Pirates of the Caribbean, like Indiana Jones. And what made this unique is it's a mystery treasure movie about America. It's a treasure movie that revolves around Americana. And I particularly like that. Even though I was born an American citizen, I grew up in the Caribbean for a while, and I was always, very curious about America. And this just how do I say this, satisfied my curiosity, my imagination about America. The Child File of My Memory, very old and dusty. I remember seeing both. I remember only being fond of one and having an aversion to the other. I don't know which one it is. If I had to guess, I think it's National Treasure 2 that I want, that I liked as a child, and one not necessarily. But I'm gonna watch both, right, for nostalgia reasons, and maybe I might remember which one I liked the most. The Grand Budapest Hotel. This is a Wes Anderson film that I was curious about, but I was not moved to go see in the theater. So, some films, and I'm not really kind of the person that waits for streaming. I kind of just forget about it. I don't go, oh, I'll just wait till it comes to streaming. No, I forget about it. And I completely forgot about this until I saw it in the library. I thought, okay, now it's time to see it, right? And I much prefer to, again, be able to find these pieces of media in the library than to try and find it in streaming, because go through so many streaming programs trying to find it, and let's say you do find it but you have to pay $9.99 to actually see it. It's too much of a hassle. Very glad to have just caught this. Oblivion by Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman, another film that, again, I remember the trailers for. I remember being super curious about. Never actually went to go see because you know Tom Cruise gave me I remember just thinking that Tom Cruise is in so many random movies. One movie I could just throw out there is The Edge of Tomorrow. The concept is nice, but it's getting kind of oversaturated for me how Tom Cruise shows up. But I was oddly curious about this one as a sci-fi movie. And one thing that I do remember is the song. There's a soundtrack song attached to this that is in my head. So basically, the existence of this movie stuck with me because of that song that I really, really like. So seeing this in the library, oh, okay, I guess it's time to actually watch this and look into it as a sci-fi film. And I believe some people said this was a really good sci-fi film, that they were really frustrated that there was no sequel to it. So look forward to see what people are talking about in that sense. Next is the CDs. I have a CD player, and one thing that I have discovered using a CD player to listen to music is you really get to marinate in the record as a body of work. I really appreciate that about using a CD player nowadays. And again, this has come in handy when I fly a country to country for my job, because sometimes there's no internet on the plane. Sometimes there's no TV on the plane, or sometimes I'm in the airport waiting for my flight a lot. So with that said, it comes in handy to have this and just listen to music without running the battery in my devices, right? In my phone, my tablet, and my other phone. I have two phones. I have a work phone and a whatchamacallit phone, a personal phone. Okay. I get to save batteries on that while I just use this. And for this, I have rechargeable batteries. So I have discovered convenience in inconvenience media, right? Daft Punk is I want to say two-man band, but I'll say that it's a two-man band that people really, really seem to revere. Like, I already understood a long time ago that people revere these people, but I never got into it. I know two songs. I know Doing It Right. I know Get Lucky. I don't like Get Lucky. And I know some songs with The Weeknd, but that's all I know. Okay, so that being all I know compared to the reverence that people give Daft Punk in the music scene, here's a chance to really marinate in a whole Daft Punk record and see if I can pick up on what people find so amazing about them. Next is Bocelli. Andrea Bocelli. I know about him You know, he's probably one of the most famous opera singers. Is that right to say, right way to say it? I'm sorry, opera singers. And again, I thought it was time that I listen to his whole, listen to his body of work. You know, listen to his work as a whole. Frank Sinatra. So I'm familiar with a Frank Sinatra songs. Let me see. Come fly with me, Baba, or fly me to the moon. Let me stay. Is this on this? Is this in here? Let me know what spring is like in Jupiter and Mars. In other words, okay, I don't think it's here. Only come fly with me, which I'm not very fond of. But I remember there's one song, Frank Sinatra song, that I learned about watching the Kingsman trailer, and it's called My Way. And I remember thinking when I listened to that song and, figured out it was Frank Sinatra, I thought, I wonder what other Frank Sinatra goodies are out there that I don't know about, because it's not one of the most hits. It's not the hits. It's not the most commercially used nowadays, right? So again, in seeing this, it's time to really sate that curiosity about what other goodies out there that Frank Sinatra has that I don't know about. This, and I saw another Frank Sinatra album that was another, how I say this, another theme. It was more of a Frank Sinatra album of love songs, So right after this, that of course is going to come next. Next is Sabrina Carpenter's Man's Best Friend. This recently came out, and hold on a second. I do have Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter, and I do like it. And when this released, I listened to it on YouTube. I didn't like it very much. Okay, there were some songs that were okay. I just didn't like it as much as the songs in Short and Sweet. A lot of people didn't, right? A lot of people didn't like the cover. They thought it was more of the same thing, very repetitive of her usual pessimistic, straight woman pessimistic style of writing songs. And here's the thing with me, I only listened to it once and then I dropped it. I decided that it was not a buyer, like Short and Sweet was a buyer. And again, understanding that this really helps me marinate in what the artist is trying to say as a whole, I thought, getting this from the library, right, without paying for it and listening to it over and over and over for free, is an opportunity to marinate. And that's it for the month of October, what I have checked out of the library. I say that because the DVD players I have to check it back in the 28th, while the CD players, I only need to check it in on the 12th of next month. So I have more time with this than I have with this. Okay, I have like, what is the 21st? I have like 7 days with this. And if there's a chance that by the time my portable DVD player comes in, that I'll be, in another state working and not coming back until, the next 4 days. And how much time will that leave me to actually use player? Hopefully it's working when I have it, and watch all these movies instead of being able to watch all these movies while I'm out there traveling the nation. And so that's a problem. And hopefully it comes in a timely manner where I can get that solved, or hopefully they don't call me out to work on the days where they can, so I can get that portable DVD player for when they do. We'll see. I'll let you know how I manage. But yep, this is the start of me really using the library as a resource for physical media.